Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Steger.
All right, welcome to High School Hoops, episode 127? No,
126.
No, 126 was last week, wasn't it?
I really don't remember.
I don't know either. We'll figure it out. If that's not the right one, it doesn't matter because it's going to go up on the 13th of
right. So when you
January.
cue it in, it'll be great. So it's all good.
Doesn't really matter. Before we jump into that, couple things I'd like to give a big shout out. First of all, to Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. Go over and check them out. Mention Coach Unplugged or High School Hoops, and they'll give you $350 off. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. I do not think you'll be disappointed. It is a little bit of everything for you as a basketball coach. So go over and check it out. And let's head off to the podcast. What are we going to talk about today, Coach?
You asked me to provide a quick hitter today. So I have tons of them. I think
this is a good. I think just kind of thinking we've got some ideas coming up for January and stuff, but I think this is a good idea.
I would say that your quick hitter, it needs to be around your base offense. So I think sometimes people choose quick hitters based on what they think looks awesome, but it doesn't really reflect on their formation and what they're doing.
But also doesn't, you know what it also doesn't do? It doesn't formulate with what they're good at. Like if I got 3-point shooters, I better have a quick hitter that's good for 3-point shooters.
Right. And so I look at, in this circumstance with this one, I had a very tall team. The year I ran this, I had like my starting lineup was like at a smaller school, like my 3 was like a 6'4", and then my 2 bigs were like 6'5" and 6'6". So we were always looking for opportunities to get the ball inside. And so this was a set that we ran a lot because we ran the swing that year. And we just looked to get the ball inside, and we had really one good shooter and nobody else that could really shoot for a lick. So we were always finding ways to get the ball inside.
Okay. So go ahead. What tell me what.
So this is just a 4-out-1.
So remember, this is going to be YouTube, but also on the podcast.
Right.
Describe what's happening here for people.
So not only like you look at this set here, it's a 4-out-1 in. Numbers, like, coach is constantly saying numbers really don't mean anything anymore as we look here. You could play the player where you want, depending on where you want the action to happen. But this play kind of is all about getting movement from different directions and then moving the ball from one side to the other. So the point guard starts with the ball, bringing it up. You have the 4 trailing. The 4 gets a flare screen on the opposite side of the ball, and then the 4 flares out to the corner, and then the 2 obviously would be setting that screen and then shaping up. As that's happening, really, we want to look to get the ball. Really, we're just creating action here to allow this simple pin down screen. A lot of times this pin down screen happens easily because your 5-man is not a guy that normally shoots the ball up top. Like I said, it depends on what team you have. You have 5 guys that could shoot. Maybe this is not what you're going to use, okay? Then they set a pin down, and then the 5 is wide open to start with. So we shift the ball to the 5 on the right side of the floor. Okay, Coach, you see that so far?
Sorry, I'm muted there. Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Then basically, as that screen happens, the person that set that pin down comes and sets a back screen. Now we're looking for a simple post touch inside from the 3 to the 2. You could have your bigger player here. If you have a taller guard, you might get a post touch inside here.
And what's 4 doing at this point? What's 4 in the opposite corner doing?
He would be buried into the corner.
Okay.
You know? That's a great question. But he'll be sneaking in afterwards because he'll be setting a a back screen, where we reverse the ball back. And then really what happens then, we look to set that double back screen for the 5 coming across for a layup.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That does make sense. So what are the 3 big things you're trying to get out of this? Well, you're not going to get anything on the initial pop out, right?
No, because he's not a shooter. Okay.
Right.
I mean,
so why would I guard 5?
Right. So that's why the ball is easy to get into 5, because he's not going to be.
Yeah. So easy entry. Okay.
Easy entry. So once the ball gets to one side, we get that movement, right? Then we can start doing the other actions. So, that diagonal screen to here, and then that ball reversal, and then that double back screen for the 5 coming across.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, a lot of times teams may switch this, but then you start to see a switch, you could quickly react back,
right?
Where if the 2 decides and they decide, oh man, they're not going to switch, well, this 3 could re-back here and reshape up and decide to post up here for a post up here. If they decide to switch, you get them on their back. That's an option out of there if they decide to switch. So that would be the one option you could do off of a back screen that they decide to switch on, which is huge.
Right. Yeah. So what causes problems with this? Not enough movement?
Well, I think one point that you make is that, it has to happen quickly. What is this 4-man doing here, right? And, technically, if you got shooters, any set becomes easy to run, right?
Right.
So 5-man's a tall guy. If this guy is covering this guy, this 5-man could throw a skip right here for this guy for a jump shot if they decide to help out big time here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if this 4 is a good shooter, you could just dish it to 4 and they have a flare and a drive in. You know what I mean? It all depends on what players you have and what you're trying to do. And we'll keep talking about this till we're blue in the face. Basketball is a lot easier when you got shooters, any set you have. You know what I mean? We could talk about it every day.
Right.
Every set's has a flaw, right? Well, this person's not moving enough right now, or this not happening here,
Yeah, I don't think there's a magic solution. Is sometimes people think a quick hitter is a magic solution. If your guy can't set a back screen, it doesn't matter what kind of quick hitter you run. Right.
Right. Now, like here, if this 1 gets the ball here, you could simply, if they're if they're denying that pass, he could backdoor cut. There's just things that you got to be able to do. Another thing is that you have to teach your players. No matter, we could go through all my list of sets here. We go list, if they are overplaying or they're underplaying, you have to be able to read the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think we talked about this. Do you remember we talked about I think it was situationals, right? It's always going to look better when you're playing somebody else. Always going to look better.
It is.
It does. Because the other kids kind of know what's going on. So
right. Yeah. So how do you deal with that then?
To what?
That it's going to look better. That you can't really run it in practice. That it's going to. So this hasn't anything to do with this specific play, but I agree. I think it looks better when people don't know.
You might think this is not crazy, but there was times where we would do situations. We've been talking about, situations where I would pull a play that I wanted to put in the next week or so, and I would draw it up and have the team run it before the other team knew it.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of times I would introduce the play by drawing it up and having the team run it before, and I would have them run it a couple times, and then the other team had to respond to it. You could start to see some of the weaknesses or areas of where we run it a couple times and see what happens when somebody overplays it, see what happens when somebody underplays it, switches. You can start to see some of those things right away before you start teaching both sides of your whole squad the set.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Anything else with that?
No, I mean, like I said, this is a pretty simple play. It's a
we're not trying to be overcomplicated with this one. This was more for a discussion point for you and I. But I think it leads into, I love that idea of drawing it up. I do that too with my guys. I think what's going to have to happen is that leads into the kind of the next couple of weeks with situations and stuff. Hopefully, if we get everything situated with that, no pun intended. So yeah, I love that. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here with this quick hitter. We're just trying to get some discussion points about, hey, spacing and movement and back screens. And like I was asking you, how do we get 4 open, 5 as in the opposite side? All of those things.
What do we do if they do this? Like, what do we do if we don't do that? Like, so like another thing is like, I don't know, some people have a lot of quick hitters and some have like 4 or 5, and then they know how to read and react off of it,
Right. Yeah.
It's
Perfect.
all based. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's great. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Have a great week.
Same to you.
Hope you get your shot soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.